This is Mrs. Appia with Lesson 12, Linear Equations in Two Variables. Student outcomes for this lesson. Students use a table to find solutions to give a linear equation and plot the solutions on a coordinate plane. In this lesson, students will find solutions to a linear equation in two variables using a table. Then plot the solutions as points on the coordinate plane. Students will need graph paper in order to complete the exercises and the problem set. Our essential question is, what is the solution to a linear equation in two variables? Let's begin by looking at the vocabulary needed for this lesson. First, what is a linear equation in two variables? First and foremost, it will have two variables, generally an x and a y. Then, those variables will have a coefficient. One of them could be 0, but not both of them. So we have 2x and 3y. This will be separated by a plus or minus sign, and then a constant of what it is equal to. This is a linear equation in two variables. It has two variables. The definition: an equation which includes x and y in separate terms and a constant. Standard form has to do with the order that these terms are in. A linear equation in two variables in the form of ax plus by equals c is in standard form. A is a coefficient, a number. B is the coefficient of y, and c is a number. A linear equation in two variables is said to be in standard form when it is in this order: ax plus by equals c. What is a solution to a linear equation in two variables? It will be an ordered pair, an x and a y value, that make the equation true. We're going to do number 2. Find 5 solutions for the linear equation 2x minus 10, 2x minus y equals 10, and plot the solutions as points on a coordinate plane. Let's first write down the steps to solving this problem. Step 1 is to pick a number for x or y. Step 2 is to substitute the number for that variable. Step 3, solve for the other variable. Step 4, write the ordered pairs. Step 5, graph the solutions. Let's do those steps and solve this problem. Our linear equation is 2x minus y equals 10. I'm going to write that in the table. 2x minus y equals 10. These cells are not quite long enough to do all of the math needed. You may want to do this on a separate piece of paper if you don't write small. We'll begin by selecting x. As it says in the steps, you can choose x or y. We're going to do a little bit of both for practice. For our first answer, let's let x equal 1. We're going to substitute the value of x with 1, and then we will solve for y. That gives us 2 times 1 minus y equals 10. Simplify. 2 times 1 is 2. Bring down the rest of the problem, and now solve for y. Subtract 2 from both sides of the equation, and simplify. Minus y equals 8. Divide by the invisible coefficient of negative 1. Divide by negative 1 on both sides of the equation, and y equals negative 8. Negative 8. So our first solution is the ordered pair where x equals 1 and y equals negative 8. 1, negative 8 is one solution to this problem. Next, let's find another solution. Let x equal 7. In the original equation, I'm going to substitute the value of x with 7. So we have 2 times 7 minus 1 minus y equals 10. Simplify. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus y equals 10. Subtract 14 from both sides of the equation and simplify. Negative y equals negative 4. Divide both sides of the equation by the invisible coefficient, negative 1. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Y equals 4. We found another solution. It is the ordered pair where x equals 7 and y equals 4. Our second solution is 7, 4. And in step 1, you see that you can choose a number for x or y. So let's practice now when we set the value for y. Let's let y equal 2. Substitute 2 in for y. Our original equation is 2x minus y. We're going to replace y with 2. And this time we will solve for x. Simplify. Well, there is nothing to simplify, so we'll go ahead and start solving. Add 2 to both sides of the equation. Now we simplify. We get 2x equals 12 and x equals 6. When y equals 2, then x equals 6. The ordered pair is 6, 2. We have 3 solutions for this equation so far. Next, we'll let y equal 3. Pause the video and find the x value. And also find the y value when x equals 9. Pause the video and resume when you are ready to check your work. The solutions are 6.5, 3, and 9, 8. We're on step 5 right now, which is to graph the solutions. Graphing our first ordered pair, we have 1, negative 8. So I'm going to go over 1 and down 8. And this is my first ordered pair. Pause the video and graph the rest of the ordered pair solutions. The ordered pairs on the graph are the solutions to this linear equation. Pause the video and check your ordered pairs. The next problem that we're going to do is number 4. Consider the linear equation 2/5 x plus y equal 11. Will you choose to fix values for x or y? Explain. Question B. Are there specific numbers that would make your computational work easier? Explain. And 5 solutions to the linear equation and plot the solutions as points on the coordinate plane. There is a definite advantage to picking certain numbers for x and y. In the previous example, we picked whole numbers and avoided fractions and decimals. And we used relatively small numbers. The reason for that is so that we could do the math mentally. In this case, we have a coefficient that is a fraction, and you'll want to choose your value for x because the coefficient is a fraction. So question A, will you choose to fix the values for x or y? We will fix it for x because x has a fraction coefficient. Are there specific numbers that would make your computational work easier? Definitely. When we look at the denominator, and we know that we're going to need to multiply that with a whole number, for example, 2/5 times 5. That would be multiplying by 5 over 1. Or 2/5 times 10 would be 10 over 1, or 2/5 times 15 over 1. In all of these examples, the number that we are choosing for x, 5, 10, and 15, they are a multiple of the denominator. The reason that is a good decision is because we will end up with a whole number answer. Here, we end up with a whole number answer, and on this one, we also end up with a whole number answer. So there is definitely a value or a benefit for choosing whether to set the value for x or y and using specific numbers. When the coefficient of x is a fraction, you'll want to fix the value for x. If the coefficient for y is a fraction, you'll want to set the value for y. Then you'll want to use a multiple of the denominator. You will want to use a multiple of the denominator. That will give you whole number answers, which are easier to work with. So let's go ahead and find 5 solutions. We already know we're going to use 5, 10, 15. Let's use 5, 10, 15. And how about 20 and 25? So our linear equation for the first solution will be 2/5 times 5, and I'm going to write that as 5 over 1, plus y equals 11. And I'm just going to go ahead and write out all of my equations right now, and then I'll go back and do the math. Pause the video and complete this step. Next, I will simplify and solve. This will equal 2. 2 plus y equals 11. Subtract 2 from both sides of the equation, and y equals 9. Next, this equals 4. 4 plus y equals 11. Subtract 4 from both sides of the equation, and y equals 7. Pause the video and find the next 3 solutions. I've solved for each value of x. Now I'll write my ordered pairs. My first solution is 5, 9. My second solution is 10, 7. My third solution is 15, 5. 20, 3, and 25, 1. Now remember what this solution means. When x equals 5, then y equals 9. Next, we're going to graph these ordered pairs onto the coordinate plane on the next page. To graph my first ordered pair, 5, 9, I'm going to go down to the x-axis, and I'm going to go over 5, and then I'm going to go up 9, and I write my ordered pair. Pause the video and graph each of the ordered pairs. Here are some solutions to the linear equation in 2 variables, 2/5 x plus y equal 11. Next, we're going to go to the summary. In this lesson, you have learned a 2-variable linear equation in the form of ax plus by equals c is said to be in standard form. A and b are numbers. They are coefficients of x and y. One of them can be 0, but not both of them, and c is a constant. A solution to a linear equation in 2 variables is an ordered pair, x, y, that makes the given equation true. Solutions can be found by fixing a number for x and solving for y, or fixing a number for y and solving for x.